We've had a huge increase in lifespan. People are living 70, 80, 90 years, 90 plus years as well. But how are the last 10, 15 years of their lives? You realize that the last 15, 20 years of their lives are really very bad. Healthspan, on the other hand, means that as long as you're living, what is the overlap of how healthy you are? How much are you contributing? My vision is to make sure that my health span overlaps with my lifespan. Our bodies have an amazing capability of self-healing if we just get out of the way and we provided the right condition. The right conditions are things like your nutrition, good sleep, good diet, and you don't necessarily need a lot of medicine. In the older times, people were losing their health and they were dying because of infections. We don't have that problem anymore. Now the problems are because of chronic nutritional deficiency. We're getting more calories in, but the nutrients in those calories are very, very low. So the stats show that about 90% of people are deficient in magnesium. These are people in the urban life, okay? What excites me about magnesium is that it is one of those minerals which help us get energy on a cellular level. So muscles have two functions. One is contraction, one is relaxation. The contraction is all done by calcium. Relaxation is primarily done by magnesium. Stress zaps magnesium from your body. So that is why it is very important for you to keep getting it back into your system. Charlie's horse. So this is what used to happen to me. I don't know if anybody of you has felt it, that you stretch and you will suddenly have a very strong spasm in your calf and you feel like, you can't really move. Your legs, restless leg syndrome. You can't sit, you're constantly moving. In northern India, we say that if your eyes are fluttering, then either something good is going to happen or something bad is going to happen. What is bad that's happening is that your body is telling you that I do not have enough magnesium. Anxiety, irritability, abnormal heart rhythm, chronic fatigue. You feel like you've slept for about 10 hours, but you get up and you want to go back to sleep again. Heart disease. The left ventricle of the heart is actually extremely dependent on magnesium. So the heart actually does this pumping. So there is, of course, that contraction and relaxation. So magnesium helps relax it as well. So these are the different food sources. Of course, you can have pumpkin seeds, watermelon seeds, sunflower seeds, cashew nuts. Because 99% of all the magnesium is stored in our muscles, in our tissues and our bones. So when we apply magnesium on our body, on our skin has the wisdom to know what is the deficiency, and it only takes as much magnesium as it needs to. Magnesium chloride hexahydrate, my discovery after a long time, and I'm so happy to share with you guys, is what gets absorbed very, very readily into your body. Now, how do you make magnesium chloride? I want to clarify, this is not a medicine. So this is not something artificially made. It's actually taken from the salt. What you do is, the proportion is 1:1, 1 part magnesium chloride hexahydrate crystals, and then I just put a little bit of water. The reason they call it magnesium oil is because when you apply it on your skin, it has a little bit of a oily tendency. If you apply it at night, that's the best thing because it gets absorbed into your bones and tissues and muscles, and it is made available very, very quickly. So I start with putting 1 tablespoon on my palm here, and I start rubbing from the base of my foot over here, then the other leg, and then here, and back. You just have to make sure you're avoiding your genitals. If you have any cut, you will feel a bit of a burn, but that's okay. And then afterwards, before going to sleep, please wash your hands, because if you've got magnesium chloride in your hand and you do like this at night, it's going to burn. You have to be very careful that if you have excessively slow heart rate, there are some people who have such a low BP and heart rate that if they are actually sitting and they get up, they sometimes swoon. Okay, those people should not apply magnesium oil because magnesium oil relaxes your body. So elemental magnesium relaxes your body naturally. It's one of the best ways of getting a muscle relaxant. Kidney failure, anybody who's on dialysis should not have this, and anybody who's got bowel obstruction should not have supplemental magnesium. These are the only 3 cautions. Now, first-hand results. Sleep. I sleep like a baby. The moment I apply this, you have the REM sleep, the deep sleep, and I feel when I wake up in the morning, I'm completely fine and I'm ready to kind of take charge. I don't feel like, let me just laze around for 5 more minutes. No snoozing. My energies are through the roof. Migraines. What does magnesium do? It relaxes your muscles. So over here, when our muscles, because of overcalcification, are actually very tense, the blood vessels are not able to get the blood through that easily. And the moment you apply magnesium oil, you feel an immediate difference. Top nutritional deficiency number 2, vitamin D3. So here are some of the symptoms. Excessive sweating, high blood pressure, impaired immunity, of falling sick every 2 months, 3 months, mood swings, tiredness and fatigue, seasonal affective disorder. That's why people don't want to stay in London or Seattle, because it's so gloomy, there's hardly any sun out there, and you don't have enough vitamin D. You feel suicidal, depressive when your vitamin D levels are low. Now, I've seen a lot of doctors get this wrong. They say get out in the morning, first day, when the sun is coming up. You do not make any vitamin D3 at that point in time. So the logic behind that is that when the sun is coming up, there is UVA that hits the atmosphere first. UVB hits later on, and it's when UVB hits your naked skin, not through any clothes or through a glass or anything like that, or even through a sunscreen protection. That's where vitamin D gets made by your body automatically, and you have an amazing high. If you're actually out in the sun at that time and you do it for a few days, you feel like you've had 2 cups of coffee, but you do not feel that slump afterwards. And mind you, serotonin, the happiness hormone, 90% of it is made in the microbiome, in the gut. And there is some of it which is made in the skin when we get exposed to sunlight as well. So you want to be more happy, please be out in the sun. But when you're doing that, make sure you're not wearing too many clothes. In the morning, when you get up and you do Surya Namaskar early in the morning, it has a very different purpose. When the morning sunlight hits your eyes, and as it is in the first 1 hour, this is one of the morning rituals I do, and I'll just make sure that the sun is falling on my face, because we have a lot of photoreceptors over here in eyes. So what it does is basically it does a lot of hormone balance. We have pineal gland right over here, the third eye, that is responsible for production of melatonin. Melatonin is what makes you sleepy at night, and when you expose yourself to morning sunlight, your body's circadian rhythm gets reset as it's supposed to be. And also melatonin is a very potent anti-cancer. It's also called a youth hormone. Younger people have more melatonin. So if you want to be young, make sure that you're out in early morning AM sun and expose yourself. Vitamin B12, extremely important. It's for your brain. Symptoms are poor memory. Oh, where did I keep my keys? I've seen this guy, I've forgotten his name. You have feelings of tingling and pins and needles, chronic fatigue, hair problem, infertility. This is a big issue in the modern world right now. People, men, women are trying to get kids, but it's not happening. When I got my blood test then, my B12 levels were 140. Okay, the range is 150 to 900. And I could feel that I was forgetting stuff. This was about 5 years back. I started supplementing after doing all my research. And within few weeks, I felt like my brain function was tremendously high. I was like a ninja. I could see here, I knew what was happening here. I was that fast. And that is because of the fact that I was so deficient. You can avoid a lot of money being spent in diseases if you ensure that these chronic problems are kind of addressed much earlier on. Most of us are not firing on all cylinders. I think most of us are kind of working on 15-20% of our potential. I'm not talking about mental potential, but just in terms of health, what we can do. If you're firing on all cylinders, we're on 100%, I think that's where we're truly healthy.